A work resource, like a person or a piece of equipment, is limited by the time it's available. A person can't work 24 hours a day without eventually melting into a puddle of unproductive goo. Even equipment needs some time off for maintenance. In addition to entering information like name, initials, and work group, you can tell Project how much a resource is available and the resource's work schedule. The resource sheet is the easiest place to create and add basic information about resources. If it's not visible, you can click the View tab and click Resource Sheets to display it. The entry table that you see contains the basic fields for work, material, and cost resources, so it's a great place to start when you're creating all types of resources. Click the first blank resource name cell and type the name of the resource. A standard like last name, first name helps you find resources later on. But you can also create generic resources for a skill set by using the job description as the resource name, like IT admin. When you get people assigned to work on your project, you can replace the resource name with the person's name. Keep in mind you can't use commas or brackets in resource names. When you press Enter, Project automatically fills in the type field with work, so you can leave this cell as it is. For work resources, you can't type anything in the material cell, so initials are the next thing that you enter. Project initially fills in the initials field with the first letter of the resource name, but that results in lots of duplication and meaningless initials for all but the smallest projects. So be sure to type the person's first and last initials or an abbreviation of the job description. Initials are great when you want to see who's assigned to a task in the Gantt chart timescale without having the resource names hogging the screen. The group field can represent any type of category you want: departments, subcontractors versus vendors, or skill sets. In addition to grouping resources in the resource sheet, you can use the group field to filter the task list to tasks performed by the specific work groups, or to group tasks by the type of resource required. The maximum units field is where you tell Project what percentage of time the resource is available for the project. For example, most resources work full-time during normal working hours, so Project automatically fills in 100%. For people who work part-time, you can change the percentage. For instance, 60% for people who work 3 days a week, or 50% for people who work 4 hours each day. You can even tell Project that a resource is really a 5-person team by setting the maximum units to 500%. A resource's availability actually depends on the maximum units field and the resource's calendar. If a resource works the regular work schedule, maximum units of 100% represents 40 hours a week. But if a resource calendar has work time as Monday through Friday and 4-hour work days, maximum units set to 100% represents only 20 hours a week. Project also sets the base calendar cell to the calendar you use for the project, standard in this example. You learned about creating calendars in an earlier movie. If you want to assign a different calendar for a resource, for instance, night shift, choose the calendar in this cell's drop-down list. The code field provides another way to categorize resources, which you can then use to sort, filter, or group tasks and resources. If your organization assigns job codes, you can enter them in the code field and then filter for tasks that require a specific job code. If you type a resource name into an assignment and the resource name doesn't exist in your project file, the program adds a new resource with default values for you. That can save a lot of time because you don't have to switch to the resource sheet to create a resource before you assign it. But if you type the name incorrectly, you could end up with 2 resources in your project file for a single resource in the real world. To get Project to tell you when it creates a new resource, click File, and then click Options. In the Project Options dialog box, click Advanced. In the General Options for this project section, turn off the Automatically Add New Resources and Tasks checkbox and click OK. You can also enter or edit resource information in the Resource Information dialog box. To open this dialog box, click Resource and then click Information. In fact, this dialog box provides access to a lot more resource fields, like variable, cost rates, and availability. When you finish setting the values for a resource, click OK to close the dialog box. With Work Resources, you tell Project how much the resource costs and how much it's available to your project. With that information, Project can calculate the project schedule and cost for you.